What's up, YouTube? My name is Caden, and you're watching Gas at Garage. I broke my leg. And you probably got a hint about this if you watched the last video, which was about me getting everything ready to go up to Mini Mayhem with cars and cameras. I said that something happened, and this obviously is what happened. We were supposed to leave for Mini Mayhem on Friday morning very early, and we had gotten everything loaded up in the trailer, everything was ready to go, and then this happened on Thursday night, the 23rd, which was literally the night before Mini Mayhem. So obviously it's not good, and no, this does not mean I'm stopping the channel, for those of you who are wondering, but it does suck for sure. So I will not be able to work in the garage, let alone ride anything, for at least probably a month or two. So I may not pump out as much content as before, probably not near as much. Although I do have a video next week that I think you're gonna find pretty cool. It's from like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had already filmed it. So there is that. And I will be posting some YouTube shorts and stuff. So now that I said that, you're probably wondering exactly what happened. Funny enough, this did not involve any of the machines or anything with a gasoline engine on it, surprisingly. This actually happened because I was at a skate park Thursday night with a whole bunch of friends, and I don't skateboard, I ride a stunt scooter just because I'm literally terrible at skateboarding. I can't do it. So I like stuff with 2 wheels and handlebars. So I'm pretty good at scooters and BMX bikes. And I brought my stunt scooter that night. I wasn't planning on doing anything crazy. I was just having some fun. And it was getting late, and I was just kind of running around in the bowl at the skate park, and I wasn't actually doing anything crazy. I wasn't trying to do any wild tricks or anything. All I did was basically just drop in to the bowl on literally the smallest ramp that was in that bowl. And I guess I just didn't lean forward far enough to keep my balance properly. And the scooter went out from under me. My left foot caught the concrete, and I guess the angle that it caught at prevented my ankle from bending or my knee from bending. And it went straight back and snapped both of the bones in my leg just above my ankle. I'll throw in a couple of pictures of the x-ray right here. So as you can see by this picture, the tibia bone, which is the larger one, has a spiral fracture, and the fibula, which is the smaller one, is shattered. And they got pretty displaced, probably about an inch or so. And yes, it hurt a lot. I thought I had broken my ankle when I first fell down, but then I looked at my leg and I was like, there's not supposed to be a second joint there, because my foot was like flopped over to the side. It was bad. I'm sorry if you're squeamish, but that's what it was. So since there was actually no one else around the bowl at the time, and it was kind of getting dark out, I had to crawl up out of the bowl. And my dad was also there, because he drove me and my brother there. And I called over to him and I was like, Dad, I broke my ankle. Because I actually thought it was my ankle, because it was so close to it. And he comes running over and immediately like just cringes at the sight of my foot flopped over to the side. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of that. just in the heat of the moment, we didn't even think about that. But we kind of assessed the situation as I'm laying there on the ground in excruciating pain. And we thought about calling the ambulance, but it turns out we were about 15 minutes from the closest emergency room. So a couple of other adults that were there and my dad picked me up as best they could and carried me over to the truck. I hopped in the front seat with both of my hands around my foot like this, trying to hold it as stable as possible because my foot was no longer solidly connected to my leg. So it was very wobbly and kind of floppy. And I basically sat like this in the car for the whole 15-minute ride to the hospital, which was kind of miserable. But we got to the hospital, I got admitted, and I got into the exam room, and I was just kind of sitting there trying not to move it because every little tiny movement really, really hurt because obviously my leg was broken. And the swelling was starting to get pretty bad. My whole shin started to swell up. Obviously my ankle was swollen. The bruising hadn't set in yet, but it was starting to get pretty bad. So they brought in the x-ray machine, took some x-rays, and then later that night I got admitted to the overnight stay area in the hospital. I don't know what they call it, but more comfortable bed. They hooked me up to an IV, all that good stuff. And the worst part was when they had to put me in a splint, because I had like 5 or 6 people all grabbing my leg, trying their best to hold it steady, but since everyone's taking their hands on and off my leg to wrap gauze and cotton and ace wraps around it and the splinting material, it was not comfortable at all. It hurt a lot. So that sucked. And then that night I got basically no sleep, as you can probably imagine. And then they also had to give me quite a lot of pain meds. I was on morphine and Dilaudid, which is actually supposed to completely knock me out, but it didn't. It just helped with the pain. That's how worked up with adrenaline I was, apparently. So that night was not fun. And then about probably 1 o'clock, 1:30ish on Friday, they took me back and got me ready for surgery, and I had to have a 14-inch by 9mm titanium rod put through my knee into my tibia, and it was secured with 5 screws plus a 6th screw that's holding together a crack that's actually on the back part of the base of my tibia. Here's a couple of x-rays of all the metal that's in my leg. And as you can see, it's pretty extensive. And I have, I believe, 7 or 8 incisions, and I think 22 or 23 stitches. I have an incision right here on my ankle that's about probably that long, along with a couple of other smaller ones where they put the screws in, and then there's a small incision here where they put 2 screws in to hold in the rod, and then there's a 1-inch incision on top of my knee right there where they actually drove the rod into my leg. And then obviously, as you can see, the bruising is pretty extensive, and I considered throwing in the pictures of what this scar looks like, but it's pretty gross, and I don't really think you want to see it. So I'm not going to throw that in there. But I think the x-rays do it enough justice as to what happened here. And as for recovery, I'm probably going to be laid up for about like a month before I can really start actually getting back to walking again, and then the full recovery should take about probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 months for the bones to fully fuse back together. But by the 1.5 to 2 month mark, I will definitely be walking around again, and probably around a month or so, or maybe even less, hopefully, I can get back out here in the garage and start working on stuff again and making more videos for you guys. So that's basically the extent of what happened to me. And of course it had to happen the day before Mini Mayhem, so really sucks that we missed Mini Mayhem, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it at this point, so there's no reason to mope about it. So that's pretty much all I have to say. That's basically what happened, and I'll be still making videos after I recover for a little while, and I'm still going to be doing a lot of really cool stuff. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.